Hey, Unstuckers. Josh here, as joined this Friday and every Friday by my co-host Cel. Say what's up, Cel.
What's up, Unstuckers?
Nice. And this week we have a special guest of, I think, the first time we've ever had someone appear on the podcast twice, right?
Yeah.
You may know her as she was just on the podcast last week. Sophia Sunwoo, welcome back.
Thanks for having me. I'm so honored that I'm a second timer here.
Yeah, see, that don't get too much of a big head about it. Like, we like you, but so yeah, awesome. We just thought, the Casual Fridays thing is kind of new for us, and we thought, like, oh, what if we had these amazing guests come back for Casual Friday? That'd be fun. And so you're our first trial on that idea. So
Sweet.
yeah,
Hopefully
so
I set a good precedent.
I think you will.
I have no doubt.
Yeah, and if anyone doesn't know what the hell I'm talking about, go back a couple episodes, Sophia Sunwoo episode, where she talked to us about money mindset, which was a super awesome episode for everyone to listen to. So yeah, and if you're new to the show, this is Casual Fridays, where we just talk about ourselves and our businesses and trade ideas, and you get to see solopreneurs in sort of a mini mastermind kind of setting, exchange ideas very quickly, at least on Casual Fridays. So, with that, Sophia, since you're our lovely guest, we'll start with you. What's going on? Tell people about, first of all, who may not know about your business, and then what's going on in your business this week.
Yeah, so my business, I work with female entrepreneurs, helping them with various challenges, various growth that they're trying to achieve. And I work with them in capacity of coaching and different like startup school basically programs. And yeah, it's been an interesting week for me. I think that for me, I didn't feel the impact of COVID for a really long time until quite recently. So I think for me, the biggest challenge has been just readjusting and pivoting um, in a big way because I think that now I'm finally starting to see people ask for different things, people asking for shorter engagements and things like that. Because the way that I work, I don't really do like one off sessions. Like my capacity of working is always like 2 to 3 months long because that's when you see impact, right? So a lot of people are asking for shorter sessions. So I'm trying to understand and figure out like, okay, I've had more than one person ask me this. Now, how do I do this in a way that can still deliver value and impact and not compromise my quality and integrity of product? Um, but still be mindful of what's going on in the market, what people are asking for, and things like that. So yeah, like my biggest challenge is like how do I remain of strong service but adjust to people's changing demands right now.
It's really cool to see someone who helps entrepreneurs kind of explore this, right? Because I'm sure you help people do this, but not often do you have to do it in your own business when you're kind of at that level already. So it's really cool that, I mean, it's not necessarily cool that we're in a pandemic, but it's cool to see that you have to pivot as well, even being as far along as you are.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
definitely.
think.
I mean, yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna just point out it kind of reminds me of like the restaurant industry. Like obviously restaurants can't really have as many diners and people doing takeout. So I'm seeing a lot of restaurants pivot as well, where they're doing things like meal kits and just figuring out like how do we get like a small piece of the pie with this huge adjustment. So yeah, it's like kind of reminds me of that, of like us figuring out how to like offer what we offer in like a smaller plate, so to speak. So yeah, it's really interesting.
Yeah, and you mentioned that you weren't feeling the impacts of COVID, which depends on business to business. Like, you're kind of doing a lot of online stuff and whatnot, but also just areas. You're in Boulder, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, I'm in Boulder,
And
but
so,
I kind of work. I actually probably only have like two clients in Boulder. I'm pretty much like all my clients are all over the world. But
Right.
this is a global pandemic. So yeah, I'm
Yeah.
definitely feeling the effects of it now.
It's interesting whenever we get outside of our communities in this pandemic to see how different people are reacting. Like even as the United States kind of on ramped onto the shutdowns and stuff, like it was interesting checking in with Chell every week from Florida to New Mexico's perspective on things. Like I was like scared and serious one week, and Chell was like, "What?" Because like my governor was like yelling at us, and hers was like, "It's
Yeah.
fine." Like, actually, rumor has it right now. I think New Mexico's governor is definitely talking, and the rumor is that maybe we're gonna take a step backwards on shutting things down again, like the restaurants and stuff.
Wow.
So that's concerning. I don't know if that's a fact, but that's what I hear is maybe the
Wow.
happening right now. So
Yeah, that is really concerning to me, especially I saw some crazy statistic the other day. It was mentioned by a Boulder restaurant, like a pretty popular restaurant. They said something like, if there's a second shutdown, it's going to wipe out the industry here by like 85%, the restaurant industry
Wow.
specifically. Like, I was like, whoa, that is catastrophic. So, yeah, I mean, like, in addition to pivoting, like, just this, like, very stark reality that a lot of businesses have to grasp onto of like, I might have to shut down this business that I spent like the past decade building. Like, that is really, really, really unfortunate. And like what a strange time mentally for so many entrepreneurs.
yeah,
Definitely. So, as an entrepreneur, when you have to pivot, do you like internalize? Do you go to other like other entrepreneurs or other people that you trust? Like I go to Josh when I have a question, and like he and I brainstorm it out. Is that what you do, or do you kind of just internalize and then expel it out?
Yeah, I think you have to do a little bit of both. Like, I think that like getting second opinions just to make sure you have a gut check is really important. And also, like at the end of the day, the reason why you have your business and why you're the leader of your business is because you have like that intuition that you should be relying on. So at the end of the day, just like coming back to yourself and making that call, I think is really important. So, um, yeah, I think like the mark of a strong leader during times like this is like how strong of a call can you make and how confident can you be in that call. Otherwise, like if you can't stand up in these types of tumultuous times, then you're just not fit to run your business. So, yeah, I think it's a little bit of both, but at the end of the day, just always coming back to yourself and making that final call.
Yeah,
yeah.
that was very well said.
So what are you thinking your switch is gonna entail? You got any thoughts?
Yeah, yeah, it's a good question. I think like there's probably going to be an element of like productizing what I do where obviously like people pay me to like have these custom sessions with them where like they can almost borrow my brain for like an hour or two, but I have to figure out a
I like the way
way
you put
to
that.
yeah, so I have to figure out a way to basically condense that experience into a format that makes sense for me, that's like more affordable because I've condensed it. So I think some kind of productization is going to happen. I just have to think more about what that looks like. Um, so yeah, it's just going to be a lot of like ruminating on that idea for a bit.
Yeah, yeah. Have you thought about like books or courses or something that's pre-recorded courses or something like that where it's less of your time?
Yeah, that's a good idea. I think it's going to be more like talking to people because this summer I've actually gotten to a dead end with all that. Like I've gotten to a point where I've read so many books and taken so many courses that I'm kind of like I'm done for like a really long time. Like for the past 2 years I read 50 books a year, like most of them business. So
Wow.
I'm like pretty tapped out. I'm like I'm good. So it's going to be more like the creative front of things where I'm going to be like talking to some friends that and kind of attacking it from more of a creative perspective, thinking out of the box a little bit. Because I feel like I have all the tools. I just need like people to say different things to me and it'll spark, different trains of thought in my head.
Sure. Yeah, totally.
Any challenges that we might be able to help out with, or any
Well,
brainstorm sesh?
this conversation actually helped, like, I think that when I talk to people, it like really helps me think through things a little bit more, and just like look at things from a different perspective. So you both just talking about this right now actually was pretty helpful.
You're
Sometimes it's
welcome.
sometimes it's good just to like say it out loud, right? You hear yourself as well.
Totally,
Yeah.
totally, 100%. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, Chell, what's going on with
Josh,
you? Chell,
why don't I? Why don't I what?
what's going on with you?
Oh, what's going on with me?
Yeah.
Well, it's Friday. Yay.
Yay.
Although we record on Thursday, so this is a very early celebration of Friday. Um, but I took off the latter part of last week and like didn't cook for anybody, and it was magical. Like I slept in on Sunday for the first time in 3 months, so that was just, it was beautiful, guys. Like I really can't lie. Um,
Self-care for the win.
yeah, it was great. But I also worked on my business because that's what entrepreneurs do when they take days off, apparently. Um,
Take time off so that you can work on things. Yeah.
exactly. So I worked on a mindset book kind of thing. Um, I've done this in the past, but I don't think I took it as seriously as I should have. So really putting my wants, goals, desires, and how I'm going to get there down in basically a Celestina book, like ebook format. So like I could read it every day and every night, like when I wake up and when I go to bed. And that's been awesome. So I've actually done that this week. And I know my goal last week was to meditate every day. And guess what I actually did every day? Meditated.
Bam.
Yeah. And dude, my anxiety levels are like super down. So that's been awesome. So I like this week has actually been pretty prime for having as much work as I had and like working as many hours as I did this week. I actually have energy. Like that's crazy.
Sweet.
So yeah. So this week has been really good. I spent a decent amount of time at the consulting aspect of my world, and it's been a little bit more R&D this week, which is what I love. So we're trying out a new crust. We found a new crust. It's perfect. Made a dessert pizza today. Perfect.
Oh, I want
Um,
that.
I want that. That's actually my freezer right now. I'm pretty excited.
Ooh.
Um, but
Nice.
yeah, this week has gone really smooth. Um, with the online course aspect of things, I've like progressed significantly. So I think I'm on week 5, and this weekend my goal is to figure out ClickFunnels and how to make that all a thing and make that work for my site. So I'm excited to learn a little bit more about that and get that solidified. Trying to think of what else. I feel like I did a lot this week. It's been really good.
Do you find that
I
you're
need
good at meditating?
no, I'm
Yeah.
terrible at it.
That's the thing. So I've been meditating pretty much every day for like 3 weeks now. And I feel like as soon as like the session ends, I'm just using the Calm app. So it's like 10 minutes or something, guided meditation. And as soon as it ends, I'm like, oh, I was lost in that thought. I just totally forgot about my breath. But much like you, I've been like, no, this is having a huge effect on my day and my mood all day.
Yeah.
And like, even when I suck at it, it's great.
Like
Yeah.
this morning, I think I followed Catherine number 5. I don't know who she is, but she was like, focus on your breath. Literally every time my thought was like somewhere else, like in
Miles
pizza
away.
world. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, thanks, Catherine. My breath. You're right. So it was, I'm not great, but it was good.
Do you do any meditation, Sophia?
Yeah,
You
so
try?
I've been doing meditation for like 10 years and
Nice.
I can barely scrape 10 minutes like most days. It's like it's hard. It's like
It
it's
is.
not easy. It's like a constant practice, and some days like there were a couple years ago where I could do like 30 minutes, and now, it's just like one of those things that's just so hard to master. But yeah,
Yeah.
kudos to you for doing a full week of that. That's like very admirable.
I'm just trying. Oh, in addition to that, I've been trying to journal every day. So like before, like when I'm sitting in bed, just like kind of prepping for my day the next day, like writing down things I need to do, writing down my schedule, like what I need to get done. And then I also do like a gratitude practice for the day before. So just write 3 things that like were really awesome about the day before, and then things that I'm stoked to do the next day. That's not actually how I have it phrased in my book. I millennialized that a little bit more, but that's been really great too. So this is all from the online course that I'm taking and just kind of changing my mindset about things, and just it's been great. So
Nice.
I think that's a really big win for the week.
Yeah.
Another really big win is because of COVID, I've had to pivot my business mostly to consulting, right? So like my client base has dropped probably 75% in the past 5 months, which is fine because consulting is my main gig at this point and that's what I want to do going forward as well. But I also found out that I've been paying taxes on consulting, and in Florida you do not have to pay taxes on consulting. So I get all that
Oh,
back and I'm
Ooh.
super stoked.
wow. I didn't, why, I wonder why that is. Do you know why that's the thing there?
Because so currently I'm registered as like personal chef catering, like in the state of Florida. So I pay a sales and use tax. I'm giving someone something tangible, like by cooking. So they have to pay tax on that, I guess. But
Okay.
because consulting is not tangible, there is no tax on it, which is
Wow.
insane. I don't
Nice.
That's
know how much I
awesome.
get back, but it's significant. Yeah, I'm pretty excited.
That's awesome.
Very
Okay,
cool.
I think my excitement has filtered through this week. I have no questions and no problems with this week, so I'm going to pass this off to you, Josh.
I got 0 problems and 99 wins for the week.
Holla!
You started that off with like, my other win for the week is because of COVID, 75% of my business is gone. And da 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 da. And I was like, where is this a win? Oh, taxes. Cool. There it is. Awesome. Well, okay. So my goal for last week was to survive launch day for my online course, and I
You're still here.
survived.
That's good.
I'm here. I win. um, but also, so I'll update you on that. But I also promised that we would talk about my morning routine checklist. So I'm going to talk about that as well. But for the launch, real quick. So last week I mentioned that I had a meeting with an what do you call it, social media marketer person who had just joined my networking group like right after uh, this. And so I told her, I was like, hey, so I'm doing this thing and it's launching Tuesday. You think you can jump on that? And she was like, yeah, why not? I was like, but do you think it'll be effective? And she was like, yeah, why not? And we altered the plan a little bit, but like she was like, yeah, why not? And I was like, okay, cool. So um, basically, she was not marketing anything about launch day so much as she was making ads and things to start on launch day and run for about a week so that I have kind of a launch week of building through ads and whatnot. And so, as I said last week, my online course about making online courses that I took was really good about building an online course, but was not so good about launching if you have nothing to no market, no list to launch to. So, and Sophia, this is like a total departure from what I normally do. So it's like my everything I've built is like over here, and I can't even I can tell them, I guess, but it's not like I've not built a list of people who are into this stuff. So,
Yeah.
uh, so launch day happened, and I had a webinar scheduled as they told me to do, and I would teach them a thing and say take my course, and 0 people signed up. This is fine. It gets great at the end. I'm really excited. So launch morning, I spent a lot of time making videos and posting things all over the place that the course is launched, and 0 time practicing the webinar, and that worked out because nobody came. Like an hour beforehand, I was like, I'm still the only, like, my test subject is still the only person that signed up. I'm just closing this right now. So that was good. That was a better use of my time. Um, and I got 2 people to buy my course on launch day. So that's very exciting.
That's awesome.
And
Awesome.
and then I was like, cool. Well, now I have a product, right? And I can see hopefully how 2 or however many people buy this week buy it and how they go through it, what questions they have, and I can improve upon the product, right? So I was like, that's fine. If I get a few people this week, I'm totally happy with that. And now I can learn about like marketing said product more, because I've built the thing. Um, so I'm just thinking like, all right, well, I'm gonna look around and learn some things about this and that. And then the ad hit on Wednesday. It like was delayed, so I don't really know what happened, but as of Wednesday, the day after the launch, the ad was for a free PDF I was giving away on like a checklist of everything you need and where to get it for launching your own podcast, because my course is the podcast startup course. So free PDF in exchange for email, basic usual thing. And the ad started apparently running Wednesday, because Wednesday I went from 10 subscribers to 35 subscribers. And then
Hey.
uh, yesterday, Thursday, I went from 35 subscribers to, I'm going to check right now because we're technically recording on Thursday night. I now have, refresh. It's exciting. It's a big number. 82 subscribers.
Nice.
So I'm building, like we talked about when we recorded the episode this week about launch and stuff. I had nobody, and now I have 82 in just a few days later. So,
That's
and this ad's
awesome.
supposed to run for 7 days, so I'm averaging like 35 a day in 2 days. So like, if the other 5 days go like this, I'll have over 200 subscribers. So
Josh, think of 80 people in your house right now.
that's amazing.
That's awesome.
So, and all they've done is exchange your email for a PDF. So it's nothing yet. But as I learn about marketing and launching and selling the product, I'm going to use said contact list and sell to them, and hopefully, a small percentage of them actually buy. That's where I
That's
am.
awesome.
So, question on that for both of you, if you have any ideas, especially Cel, as you're doing this like funnel creation thing, um, would be, what do you think? Like, I'm also learning, and I'm not rushing into this, but what do you think I do with this list? Because they did get the PDF, so part of me thinks like I could, like, I've got a couple of like blog articles about podcasting to send them that I will send them to just be like, here's some more information, right? And then do I lead them down a tunnel towards the webinar that eventually sells the class, or do I just lead them down a tunnel towards the class or something else? Thoughts?
So I literally teach this for a living.
That's why you're here.
So,
Let
so
me
in
borrow
my
your brain for
experience,
5 minutes.
yeah, there we go. So in my experience, when it comes to courses like this, um, there's a lot out there, right? There's a lot of podcast courses and whatnot. And the reason why people buy from you versus someone else is not really so much because of you offer that extra webinar with additional information. Like, yes, proving that you're an authority figure is really important, but at the end of the day, people buy from you when they realize that they like you better than the other person. So, like, what I encourage is the next few emails that you send out to your list, that it's really brand personality driven, where you're really letting shine why you're different from everyone else, because that kind of flair is the only thing that will stick in people's brains, because everyone's sending the same educational authority style emails when it comes to trying to sell to someone or right before the sell. So if you can kind of differentiate yourself where you're showing your why you got into this, why you're so passionate about it, what's your values, um, what is your brand like? Is your brand funny, or like letting that kind of personality shine, almost as if you're an actual person rather than putting like a corporate veneer of like we're really like legitimate and blah blah blah. Like I think like definitely do elements of that, but it's like pretty boring for a lot of people now. Like people are so over hyper like entertained through every single medium now. So there has to be a personality entertainment factor to how you're speaking to your audience. So like my biggest advice is like let your personality shine in the next couple of emails, and right before you go for the kill, obviously share all of that information, knowledge based stuff like that you already know how to do because you're mentioning blogs that you can share and whatnot. But that's my best advice is like letting that part shine because honestly, like everyone else is not doing it. Like there are so many courses I've signed up for where I got into their funnel and like it's just the same thing over and over again and it doesn't compel me to buy because it's like but this person over here is like really funny and their emails are pretty entertaining and I trust them because they remind me of me or something like that. So yeah, that would be my recommendation as far as next steps.
Nice. Yeah, I like that. I have been
Ditto.
putting out a lot of videos on uh, of myself being ridiculous, like I am on this podcast. So hopefully that's the right step. But it's good to hear that I should lean into that more than the other stuff. So that's cool. Awesome.
Embrace improv, Josh.
What, me? No, never. Okay, so you remember what was it, this last episode I was talking about bats for no reason at all? And you were like, why with the random example of bats? I was thinking in my podcasting course, as I tell them how to build things and how to fill this out and make a graphic and whatnot, I realized I needed a example. So I was building from scratch a podcast about ravens, subtitle from a guy who knows nothing about birds. And so the podcast or the course is like silly and ridiculous. But then I realized I have a thing for flying animals in my examples.
And pie.
Oh, well.
That's like endearing though. Like people like, funny stuff like that where they kind of feel like they're in on the inside joke.
Right. Yeah. I kind of did it on a whim on one lesson where I was like, oh, I need an example and did it. And then I just kept it throughout the course and realized like through the course, they watch me build a podcast that I'm never actually going to record. But I was like, oh, this is like a funny through line. This will be cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Any other ideas before I go to the checklist?
Mm-mm.
No? Great. Okay, so the checklist as promised. So similar to what you were talking about with your Celestina book.
Yeah.
I have a Josh book, and the Josh book is mostly this checklist that I've pulled from so many sources like Donald Miller and Brandon Burchard and all these people who are like efficiency, productivity type people. And over the years, I've done different like to-do lists for the day and morning routines and blah blah blah. So I've made this checklist that I can't find. That is there it is. Um, that's my whole morning routine on one piece of paper or like I do like on my iPad. And so if you're on the YouTubes, I'll show it to you. But um so I have in this column here on one side of the paper is like everything I do in the morning, which is like checking in on apps, morning journaling, emailing my coach. I don't know if you're really seeing that at all. There's so much light. I'll give up on
Yeah.
that. Um, so walk my dog, like everything that I want to do in the morning before work, like is there so I can just check it off. And then I have a space for the appointments that I have today. And even though they're like all digitally on my calendar, it really helps set my brain up well for the day to just have to write it down, and I see it again because I've gone through countless days where I know what my first appointment is, but I have no idea what's going on the rest of the day until my phone beeps at me and I'm like, oh crap, I have to do that today. So like, this is my moment to check in and go, this is everything I'm envisioning happening today. I have a small space for like a to-do list, but above that, I have today's big three, which is just like if I do nothing else today and I get totally distracted with client phone calls and whatnot, if I can do these three things, I'll feel like I moved the ball forward. I've like moved the needle and everything's okay. And if nothing else on the to-do list gets done today, so be it. Right. And then I have what I'm grateful for, three things. So a gratefulness practice. Um, what I get to look forward to today is kind of similar gratefulness practice, but in the future tense. Um, and then I will let go of blank, usually comes out of my morning journaling, and I will focus on blank, which is kind of like nice to, if I have a moment in my day, I go, what was I going to focus on today? Like I've got 10 minutes. I'm going to work on that thing. Um, and then I have at the bottom I have my life theme, which is like a Donald Miller thing because he's all about storytelling, which is an evolving thing. But every day I take a stab at what my life theme is. So that's like an aspirational, like what is the movie poster's tagline for Josh's life, right? And then a daily affirmation like today I am blank. All of that, that's a lot, all of that on one piece of paper that I fill out every day. And then similar to you, on the iPad here I have like from exclusively from Donald Miller, go check him out, is this whole like life plan, 10-year plan kind of stuff that I read through just about every other day. And like you were saying, you can read it morning and night, but it tunes you into who you are and where you want to go. So it's interesting
Totally.
that separately you and I have done very similar things, Cel.
And then do you
and
meditate on top of all that too?
yeah, no, meditating is the second to last checkbox here.
Wow. That's a crazy, intense morning routine. That's like so
it
thorough. I love
takes
it.
it takes it takes 2 hours if I just go, and it takes like 2.5 hours when I'm like, I can't work out yet. I need a minute from walking the dog or whatever. Because yeah, it includes like walk a dog, work out, make breakfast, meditate, like take a shower, all everything. But then, much like Chell was saying about meditating every week, every day, I got like so much energy when I successfully do this every day. I don't successfully do this every day, but when I do, it's really great. I
That's
highly
awesome.
encourage everyone to do their version of this. I guess it's pretty cool.
If Patrick Olivas listens to it, he'd say make your bed should be one of the check marks on there.
Yeah, but I told him I don't, and I never will. Do you see how many check marks I have here? Sophia, you are nodding. Are you a bed maker?
Yeah, I'm a bed maker for
Ah,
sure, but it's because I'm a very aesthetic person. I love like walking to a room and everything looks nice. So that's just an aesthetic thing though.
see,
That's
I'm not
fair.
way about like the rest of my house. I just kind of like leave the bedroom, and I don't have
Gotcha.
to deal
Yeah.
with that for the rest of the day.
Yeah. But I live in like, so Boulder is similar to like these bigger cities where you have small apartments. So like I
Sure.
see everything. So I'm like, gotta make that bed.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I have the New Mexico sprawl house.
Yeah.
We've got space. We'll use it.
That's so nice. Yeah.
It is nice. Low cost of living, New Mexico for the win.
Yeah.
All
All right.
right.
What is your goal for the week, Sophia?
My Go ahead. Yeah.
You're not Sophia,
Um,
Josh.
I was confused that you were suddenly hosting.
My goal for the week, so I think my goal for the coming week is to, so one like big win this past week is like I finished up like I blog every single week and I try to do them in advance. So this is the first time in a really long time that I got all my blogs done for the full month of July. So I'm
Nice.
hoping to like my goal next week is to just keep that train going. I'd love to like get August done so that I just have breathing room. Like sitting down and writing every single week for like 2 to 3 days of the week is just it's exhausting. It takes a lot out of you, and it'd be nice to just like have a break from that for a little bit. So yeah, my goal next week is to get August done for vlogs. That'd be amazing if I could do that.
Cool.
Nice. How about you, Cel?
I forgot a win. So remember when I said like 2 weeks ago I was gonna ask
So
for
many wins. 99 wins.
Seriously, dude, this was a great week. I can't even tell you. So remember like 2 weeks ago when we were talking to Greg, I was like, yeah, I think I'm gonna ask for a penny a pizza for the pizzas I created.
Oh,
I had
yeah.
a conversation this week, and I'm getting a penny a pizza for all of the pizzas I created
Woo!
/ sell. So residual income for the win.
Yes.
Nice.
Everyone,
super stoked.
send some
Yeah.
juju to Cel's pizza thing. This is going to be
Thanks,
great.
guys. Or just buy them. They'll be available online. Just buy them, and
There you
then
go.
I'll get a penny a pizza. It'll be great.
It's amazing.
My goal for the week is to still be kind to myself. So like if I'm tired, I'm going to take a nap. And I think I need to keep practicing that. So be kind to myself again this week.
Yeah, from the king of naps over here, I can tell you it's great. Just keep on napping. My goal for the week, I think I'm just going to be learning this week. I'm going to be burying myself in learning about email marketing. I actually signed up for an online course about training my dog, so I'm working on that.
Of course you did.
Of course I did. I like my course about building an online course is over. What I'm going to fill that time with? Training Penny, of course.
Training dogs
So
hard.
yeah, it is, but it's so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to bury myself in learning this week before I just like email my newfound list that keeps getting new subscribers. 83 now. Yay!
Nice.
So before I email them all willy-nilly, I'm going to like learn some things, make a game plan, take Sophia's advice, and work on that later because there's no real rush, I figure.
Sweet.
Yeah, cool. All right. Well, with that, this is a long episode. We had a lot to cram in, especially Sophia's knowledge. So with that, we will let you go. Remember that Casual Fridays is now on YouTube. So if you want to see the faces that go to these voices, you can. Hey. And if you don't want to, you don't have to. You can also continue to subscribe wherever fine podcasts are sold. We are the Unstuck Institute. Have a great weekend and be excellent to each other. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.